Built for More podcast. Denny Thompson, Pastor Joby Martin, 2024 Pro Bowl Mississippi State Bulldog, former Mississippi State Bulldog, Jacksonville Jaguar punter Logan Cooke. What's up, man?
What's up, brother? Always a dog.
Always.
Yeah, go Dogs.
Yeah. Always. Always. We were just talking about that. I'm getting ready to fly into beautiful Starkville, Mississippi next week, man. God's country.
I've been looking forward to this one because I know this guy. I've known him for, when'd you get here?
18.
I mean, we met immediately. I guess you showed up straight to church, and then we started turkey hunting together.
Yep.
Wait, you've been here. Wait, you got 2018? It's been that long?
Yeah, 8 years now. It's flown by.
Wow.
And literally, you're the best punter in the league.
Oh, man. I don't know about that.
I do. You're the most valuable one.
Well, appreciate it. Appreciate it.
I mean, seriously, they don't give that stuff away in the NFL, don't they? I mean,
Yeah,
when you they value you more than all the other punters.
Well, if you stay around long enough, you get some, consolation prizes.
Nah, you're the dude, man. You're the dude. That's not a consolation prize. You boom that
Pro
thing.
Bowl's a consolation prize? That's
Dude, he
wild. That's a
booms
wild
that
statement
thing.
right there, Logan. That's
And
not-
tackles, and has had several fake punts.
Well, he's 6'5".
Throw it around a little bit.
He's 6. Like, you usually don't see a punter, I don't think. Are punters your size?
It's kind of developing. You're seeing a lot of more athletic guys who are, I guess I just self-proclaim myself an athlete, but you're seeing more athletic guys as punters.
Is it that long lever? Is that part of it?
No,
Like your foot has got to be going faster because your your leg is 3 feet longer than mine. So I can only get so much. You know what I mean?
So there's a lot of factors. I think you have to hold. So the punter's a holder too. So if you have an unathletic punter, then he can't, bad hands is kind of a liability. And then making tackles. I mean, we just kind of talked about Ross beforehand, but as a snapper, Ross played linebacker at Baylor, so he's a freak athlete and a great tackler. So if you can find a 11th, as a punter, an 11th guy who can make plays too, then you kind of, have a head up on the coverage.
Tell the story real quick about your snappers coach, because this is good, loving leadership right here.
It is. This is Coach Lebby's a Mississippi State Bulldog now, so I'm a fan. But Ross had him at Baylor, and long story short, pretty much Ross obviously wanted to play in the NFL, and he was a linebacker at the time at Baylor, and per Ross, he said Lebby was kind of the first one to tell him, like, hey, look, you're not going to be a linebacker in the NFL, so if you want to play in the NFL, I think snapping might be the key. Then here he is, a 2-time Pro Bowler, All-Pro, just dog.
It's a good gig, too.
Yeah, dude, that's
gig.
That's good leadership. That's good coaching. That's love. When you tell people what they need to hear instead of what they want to hear. Because, a lot of people, you think your job as a coach is to give a pep talk.
Yeah.
For what?
Yep.
You got this. When you ain't got this, no, it's way better to be like, you might want to pivot, brother.
I like Jeff Lebby.
Good.
I like Jeff Lebby a lot. I hope he does well at Mississippi State. Like, good coach, good dude. Heck of a resume. I want to have him on. He's got a heck of a story as well. I joked about you being 6'5", but you are 6'5".
Yeah. So
coming up through your football journey, when did punting become a thing? Because at 6'5", and this has you listed at like 230. What?
Yeah, well, all right. Well, actually, it's a funny story. I showed up at 240 my rookie year.
All right.
Not a good 240. I wasn't a great college punter, just to be honest, and I never had any ambitions to play in the NFL. It was just SEC. I mean, that's all I want to do.
Yeah.
And then go to work. So it's funny, we played in the Gator Bowl here my senior year. It was the last game I ever played in college. And when we left here, I kind of told my dad, like, that was it. Like, had a blast, and then he was kind of like, all right, just know, like, if this door closes, like, you can't open it back up as far as the NFL door. And so I was like, all right, well, I'll try 1 year, like, if I make it, cool. Because a lot of times, you have 32 guys, 32 punters, 32 kickers, 32 snappers. So not every team's looking for a guy because, punters and kickers, we can play to we're pretty old if you're, playing good ball. So there's not a lot of jobs available. So you see a lot of guys who, like, try for 2 or 3, 4 years and then finally get their foot in the door and they play for 8 or 10. But I didn't want to do that. I was like, look, because college ball it wears you out between study hall and class and workouts, and all your buddies are hunting and fishing all the time. It's like, don't get me wrong, playing college football was incredible and it was a blessing, but it burns you out. And so that's kind of where I was, and I ended up, getting drafted by the grace of God. I have no idea. I didn't have many teams that wanted me, and so when Jacksonville drafted me, it was kind of wild. But I kind of forgot where we were rolling right there. But
no. I mean, we're talking.
What'd you do before? When did you know you were going to be a punter?
Yeah.
Right. So I wasn't great. So whatever. But in high school, I just always liked to kick the ball. I was kind of a weird kid at the playground that liked to kick it. My dad punted some, in high school, and then my grandpa, thought he punted as well. And so they all, they kind of coached me a little bit growing up. But I played quarterback my whole life. I think until my sophomore, junior year, we had another quarterback that was, I think, a year ahead of me that was just, again, small private school football. Like, we had 20-something guys playing, so you needed the quarterback that could run people over and just, it was a super good athlete. And he was a better athlete, so I played some receiver. And I played both ways. And then just luckily, coaches don't watch high school film for punters and kickers because they kind of understand your long snapper or holder situation. So and it's hard to get a guy when you have 25 guys on the team to care about long snapping.
Yeah.
So I have balls everywhere, just getting snapped high, snapped on the ground. So I was fighting for my life back there. But yeah, I got to Mississippi State and had a decent career there.
So no soccer background?
No soccer background, none.
Did you do the whole camp circuit for punting? Is that?
I did. I was not a fan. Dude. I joked with James recently, Gladstone, how I just hate this entire negotiation process. I hated the whole high school recruiting process. I hate all that. I hate having to vouch for yourself to be like, hey, get me. I'm the guy you want, and that's hard to do. And in the camps, you just every weekend just going places, but you have, as a punter, you have to do that.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I think kicking and punting is a lot like baseball in a way, like metrics and mechanics and all that kind of stuff, and really your showcase are these kicking camps. Yeah. It's just I knew he was a big guy, but when I looked it up, 6'5", 230, I'm like, that's a big punter.
And athletic.
Would imagine
oh yeah.
I would imagine at a small school like that coach did not want you to play punter.
No, I definitely played both ways. I played receiver, and then I played some kind of nickel or outside linebacker stuff. Depends on who was hurt at the time and who was actually playing. I mean, I played everything from free safety to strong safety to outside linebacker, DN, all within the same season. Just when guys get hurt, and again, in high school I was 6'5", 185, so I was getting tossed around. But
6'5", 185. That's
there you go.
That's slight.
Yeah, I was a beanpole. I could jump through the gym, but I was definitely getting rocked if I got hit.
So you didn't know you were going to get drafted? You didn't feel like that was really a surprise to you that the Jags drafted you?
I've been playing for 8 years now, so I can kind of talk about this, and everyone who's here is gone now. So
yeah,
just kind of the story of the NFL. But yeah, I had a few workouts. I didn't get invited to the combine, didn't get invited to a senior game or anything. Funny, you'll love this. I was actually turkey hunting with a buddy on some public land up in on the Tom Bigby River in Mississippi, and it's a funny story. This crappie fisherman that I know had told me that he was fishing on the river, and there was an island, and he heard turkey gobble on. So I'm like, all right, I'm sold. So me and a buddy left class early and took off there with a boat, and we're sitting on this island, and we'd actually just heard turkey gobble. It's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I mean, the turkey's dead to rights.
Wow.
And he's kind of sitting on a tree kind of to my right because we don't know where they're going to come from. And my phone's just vibrating like crazy. And at this point, I'd had an agent, and I'd had a couple private workouts, and they went okay. And my phone's ringing like crazy, and I'm like, something's wrong. Someone died. That's my first thought. So this turkey's probably within 200 yards, and I hadn't heard him gobbling a little bit, so I'm just waiting for him to show up.
And then a turkey can see you blink at 100 yards.
Right.
So you can't move.
So I'm peeking, and I see I have 5 missed calls from my agent and 2 904 missed calls. And I'm like, I don't even know what 904 is. So I have no idea. So I call him back. I'm like, hey, what's up? He's like, answer the dang phone. Jacksonville's trying to call you. And this is obviously way pre-draft and everything. And so I'm like, okay. So I told my buddy, I'm like, hey, I'm going to drop back behind you in case they come in and answer his call. So I called. It was a girl from the Jaguars, not a recruiter, obviously, but kind of the person who sets up everything. And it's like, hey, they want to get you down here for a private visit, see the facility, everything. And I'm like, okay, when you want me to fly out? And she's like, how's tomorrow? And in my mind, I'm thinking, if we don't kill this turkey now, we're going to come back in the morning. And now I'm all like, God, I don't know what to do. And so obviously I came down on the visit. And yeah, love Jacksonville. Coach Jody Camillus was the special teams coach at the time. And he was just, a ball of energy to be around. I love the guy. And came here for a visit, did all that. And then draft day, he kind of hit me up, was like, hey, we don't have a draft pick for you. They're not going to draft you, but, would love to get you down and tell you, if you come here, we want you to be the guy.
Yeah.
So if you have options after the draft's over, free agency, this is a spot you need to come. I'm telling you, it's your job, whatever. And so I was like, all right, I'll come. And I agreed to it. And we were working on like small signing bonus and everything. Like you're talking $1,000, $2,000. Like let's get a 3. You know what I mean? Like trying to get anything. And
Get a couple more decoys.
and then they called me 20 minutes later and drafted me. So I have no idea what happened behind the scenes, but I don't know. I literally told them I'd come, and then, I don't know what happened or teams were talking or whatever, but somehow I got drafted, and
good for
here
you.
we are.
It's so funny because we've had multiple people on that we've talked about the reverse of that who thought maybe they were going to get drafted. And then about the 6th round, their phone starts ringing talking about undrafted free agent deals. And we've kind of gone into detail about how that kind of works here. So it's interesting now to hear somebody say the opposite.
I know.
Wasn't really expecting it. I thought I was going to do the UDFA thing. And then all of a sudden I get a call and drafted. Like
Right.
that's cool. It's a little bit of job security. Like they spent a draft pick. It's not much, but it's a little bit.
I do kind of think that my dad did a good job, and even my agent was real about it. Like honestly, like, hey, like you're probably getting drafted, but this is our options afterwards.
Mhm.
So the whole time there was, I'm not really a pessimist, but the whole time I was like, I'm not getting drafted, but like, and again, before I told you that wasn't like my goal. My goal was playing the SEC, and that was it. So all this was just a bonus. So going into it with that mindset made it a little more like, okay, if I don't get drafted, like that's what we thought,
So when did you realize you belong in the NFL? Like how far into the season where you're like, you know what? Yeah, this is my job.
I don't know if the first season I felt that. Like there was so much pressure because when I got here, they released a guy that was here. I didn't even get to meet him, and then the kicker and the snapper at the time were real close with him, so there was a lot of that. They were awesome, but there was a little bit like, oh yeah, we love
Who was
him.
it? Was it Brad Norman?
Yeah.
Dude, I love that
Yeah,
guy.
they're
I
like-
disciple that guy.
Exactly.
Do you know him now?
So I don't even know if I've ever met him, but
He's the best.
I've heard just gold about him.
He's
He was
gold.
a great guy.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
did
yeah.
everyone's taxes. That's what I heard. so all the guys on the team were like, oh man, can you do taxes? I'm like, not even a little bit.
Call it turkey.
Yeah. So you have that bit of like, obviously they do want you there or whatever, but you feel a little bit like they love this guy and now you replaced him.
He's lovable. He's the best.
Yeah. And so anyways, so
You're great.
So my dad actually said this is probably going into my second season. I had a pretty good game start the season and kind of a couple good games. And he told me on the phone one night, he was like, you see that you actually like you belong out there now. He was like, do you feel that? I was like, I mean, a little bit. Cause my rookie year, you're just like, there's obviously college football is a lot more, I guess, high energy games.
Yeah.
You probably know that. But on the field in the NFL, everything's so fast. And like, again, if you don't punt good, Monday you can get a call that you're getting released. So there's a lot of that. The whole rookie season, you're just like, and I wasn't playing great my rookie year. So I was just trying to play keep up. And my second year was it's funny you said that. My dad actually called me and told me, looks like you belong out there. So
Wow. And then, I mean, you kind of rose to the top, man. I mean, the Jags have come after you a few times now to say you're our guy. What does that feel like?
yeah, that's obviously aside from all the financial stability for your family, there's like being wanted is no matter who you are or where you're at in your life. If someone wants you and says that you're their guy, no matter if it's school, job, whatever, or you make a team, like that's good to hear and it's good to feel. And it kind of makes you go into work with a little bigger smile on your face, knowing that they really want you there,
Joby asks all the time to quarterbacks, what's the biggest difference in college and pro? I think you can see that in special teams. Like you watch a college football game and somebody lines up for a 42-yard field goal. You're like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we should get this closer. Man, 42 yards in the NFL and like that's a gimme these days. Like, and then I've been on both fields. I've been on both sidelines, and to watch punters warm up is one of my favorite things. They are just booming these things. And the difference in a college punter warming up and an NFL punter warming up is astronomically different. Like, how much difference from a special teams perspective, how much more organized, that's what it seems like, is the NFL than college, and why is that?
Well, I think college, nowadays with NIL, I don't even know. It's a whole different game. But when I was there, you had guys in college, like your starting running back might be running on kickoff. So in his mind, that's the way Mullen like to do things. Like our whole starting kickoff team was always starters. Starting DBs, linebackers, running backs.
Urban Meyer tree. Yeah.
Same.
Yep.
Yeah, same exact thing. And so then you get to the NFL and like you have guys who like they're feeding their family off special teams and they love it and embrace it. And they can play 10 to 12 years just by running down on kickoff and hitting somebody. So you see a lot more want to out of guys on special teams. And then even from the other side of it, I mean, the way like Cam Little right now, obviously a great kicker, big leg, scrawny little.
He's
fella.
tiny.
So small. But
we were at practice, and I was like, "Is that him?" I mean, like,
but no, you like, and I guess even like guys like punters, myself, like we're specialists. Like you go watch a PGA golfer and watch the way they cut the ball and draw the ball, and like it's hard to believe that that's us with a football punting. Yep. So you have guys that are so just dialed in on their craft and watching things that some punters can do with the ball, and even like Cam, you know, especially on kickoffs, doing certain things. It's a whole nother level than college, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you can see that. You can see that right away too. Even the deep snapper. I mean, just everything is pristine.
Dude, how much pressure is holding?
The most pressure. Dude.
Yeah, that's great.
That seems terrible.
Man, the best way I can explain it is I grew up rodeo in like South Mississippi, hunting, fishing rodeo. Like that's you might can skip out on one of them, but you got to do 2 of the 3.
Yeah.
And so my sister still barrel races this day, and I grew up, you know, riding calves and steers and roping and all the things. And the best way I can explain it is like team roping, right? You have a header and a heeler. You guys can travel and drive however many hours to Cheyenne, Wyoming for a big rodeo, and if the header misses, the heeler don't get to do a thing. So for me as a holder, I can have this great kicker, all Pro Bowl kicker, and if I botch the hole, then he don't even get to swing his leg. So
and people only notice you if you screw up. It's like air conditioning. Yeah. You don't ever get credit. You just get blamed.
Yeah. Like 100%. Air conditioning?
Yeah. You've never walked in and be like, the air conditioning is so good. No. You're like, this is how it should be.
I don't know. I have walked in this old church and been like, this air conditioner is legit.
Well, that's because we live at the
meat
beach.
market.
Girls don't wear clothes to the church, so we crank it down cold so people
put some stuff on.
That's my strategy. That is a fact.
I like it. I like it.
But dude, I'm sorry. How fast is the ball coming? Like, how would you equate it to? Is it just kind of a
okay? So field goal. Our op time goal is like 125 to 130. So that's from the time Ross. I mean, the tiniest little movement of the ball to the time the ball's kicked is 1.25 to 1.3 seconds.
So it's coming pretty hot.
So just put that on your stopwatch and hit it, and that's how fast everything's going. Yeah, the ball's coming. I don't know.
I mean, it's like catching a drag, an 8-yard drag or something, where he's getting into you.
Coming. Like Coach Peterson last year wanted to get down because he held in NFL for a little bit, and he wanted to catch one of Ross's snaps, and I think all 3 that he tried to catch went straight through his hands. I mean, it's just and that's an athletic coach, you know.
Yeah.
And so that's
awesome.
It's definitely coming pretty quick. Yeah.
And then the punt snap.
Yeah. So I think I'm usually at like 14 yards. Sometimes if they're not rushing, I'll cheat up to like 13 yards to get a little extra yard of a punt. But I think somewhere maybe like mid 6s.
But it's coming pretty hot,
6,
right?
Yeah, 0.6 seconds from like snap to.
I mean, you think about the number of receivers that drop a ball right in their hands. It's coming hot.
Yeah.
But, you know, you don't see I don't see you bobbling it back there.
Yeah.
And you can't catch it like this. You can't like body it and then flip it over and kick it.
Well, that's the other thing. Like, I mean, there's a certain drop and I mean, the drop's everything, right?
Yeah. So like punting, the drop's not great, then you're kind of, you kind of don't have a chance from the get-go. But I think our punt op is somewhere around, we try to be like 195 to 20. So again, that's time Ross snaps the ball to the time it leaves your foot is less than 2 seconds is kind of a goal.
I have so many questions. So how come you see so many blocked punts in college and you hardly see blocked punts in the NFL?
Well, I think that goes back to guys who are protecting for you. It's also a different scheme. Like a lot of college, you have a lot of spread punt because there's different rules. Gunners, everyone can release. Guys on the line of scrimmage can release whenever. NFL, only the 2 furthest outside guys can release before the ball's punted. So you have a lot of that in there. And also punters, I mean, every punter in the NFL right now can get the ball off in 185 if they have to. If you're a backed up situation and into the game, they're rushing, I can get it off in 1.5, and every other punter in the NFL can too. College, maybe not necessarily. And also, college, I wasn't even thinking this. If I get up there, and I played some quarterback in high school, if I get up there and see like guys are ready to rush, like in college, I was still just taking my time and doing my thing, unless a coach told me on the sideline, like, hey, get it off, Well, NFL, if I get up there and, again, you watch film on these guys all week long and you see like, okay, with this guy in the A gap, if his right foot's up, he's coming, right? If his left foot's up, he's probably holding up. So I get up there, and then guys have tails, just like a quarterback would look at something. So you get up there and you see an 8 box, but they're all kind of like, they just don't have that look in their eye. They're not, down in the 3-point stance, and you kind of know your internal clock and kind of slow down a little bit. But then if you see all those guys, that back foot bouncing and 3-point stance are coming, well, it's like, all right, well, now my internal clock is just get the ball out. So every punt in the NFL looks at that, and there's a lot more attention to detail from that standpoint.
Do you play golf?
Yeah.
Does it feel like baseball, golf? Does it feel the same where when you catch one perfectly, is it just, it's just like you feel like you just hit air?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Is it the same thing?
Yeah, one of the coolest feelings is like, I hate backed up punts, obviously, for the scenario.
Right.
It's not good. But sometimes when you punt the ball and you just see it going, like you see the Jumbotron in the background and the ball is just spot perfect at it. It's just a very satisfying feeling.
So I was going to ask you that because you're really good at pinning the ball inside the 10. But I got to think that sometimes you're like, all right, just get me on the other 20 and let me just air one out.
Never.
Let me just launch one.
No, man, for the sake, obviously, of the team, because backed up, it's not a great scenario. Sure. But then, yeah, it's just, dude, I'll average 35 yards a punt every year if we just punt from the 40. I have zero problem with that.
And are there do they call it like, hey, I want you to kick this one far. Right? We need extra hang time here. Man, I know you probably go left, right, center, or maybe kick away from a guy, but
yeah. So everything's left, right, no center, because again, returners, that's a whole other thing. Returners in the NFL are just ridiculous. When you back up there, like you said, a backed up punt, and you have to get some distance on this one, and Tyreek Hill's back there, you're like, all right, it's not like Joe Blow's back there. You actually have a elite guy back there, elite speed and elite, catchability and able to score. So, and I mean, we always have pretty much a left and a right call, but our coordinator lets me choose all that. So it's whatever their wind's feeling, I can, go the direction I want to go. And it's all keep away, really. I mean, you see, when I was young, you're just thinking about hitting the ball high and far. And I would watch these other guys like Brett Kern, Thomas Morstead, who are older guys and still playing. And they just play keep away with the returner and just walk to the sideline. And I'm like, that seems way easier than me trying to hit it 70 yards every time.
It seems like the ideal would be a half yard out of bounds every time.
Every time. I don't care how far it is out of bounds, as long as I don't touch it. That's kind of my goal.
Yep. For all the, I guess, lack of success Jacksonville has had in franchise history, although they have gone to several AFC championships.
Occasionally, we just rise up out of the ashes.
Traditionally, though, special teams-wise, they've been really good.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the kickers that they've had in Jacksonville. You look at the punters they've had in Jacksonville. Is that does part of that have to do with kicking in Jacksonville, or is it just they've done a great job at drafting, developing guys? Like, what's the difference in kicking in Jacksonville and Buffalo?
Oh, well.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, 100%.
Kicking the cinder block.
Yeah.
It is hard to last as a guy like a Mason Crosby in Green Bay. It makes it so much more impressive when you play there one time to be like, this dude played however many years here. That's ridiculous. And yeah, I think there is something to playing in Jacksonville, and then you play in Indy and you play in Houston every year. And now, I mean, Nashville's not ever terrible. It might be cold, but it's usually not terrible weather.
Yeah.
So playing at a place like that does help to be able to be more consistent. But yeah, I mean, I think you can chalk it up to good drafting and good pickups too.
Yeah, because they've drafted kickers, they've drafted multiple punters in Jacksonville, which I mean, it's not a completely normal thing, I don't think. Right. I mean, how many punters get drafted every year? Maybe one or two?
It depends. Like my class, there were 4.
Were there really?
Yeah. It's kind of funny. We were sitting there at my so-called draft party. It was just me and some friends and family. And we were watching, and it was in the seventh round started, and they were kind of like, all right, there's nothing to talk about. Like, let's talk about punters on the board. And they started like listing like the top 5 punters on the board and showing their highlights. And I was not on one of their top 5 board. And everybody just kind of like leaned back and got on their phone and tried to not pay attention to what they were talking about. But yeah, you don't. I mean, that year there was 4, and some years there's 1. I mean, it just depends.
Yeah. Now, did you grow up a Mississippi State fan?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, I love football, and I just knew I was not an Ole Miss fan. So.
Okay. Yeah. And you grew up near Hattiesburg, right?
Yep.
Like that's where. Yeah. So Southern Miss or no?
Yeah. So I was
the Rock. Is that what it is?
Yeah. So when I was a kid, they were really good and had a lot of good teams.
Yeah.
And recently they've fizzled out a little bit, but yeah, my dad used to. He works at a bank back there, so they had a small local bank. So they had season tickets. The bank did, so I'd go to a lot of games and baseball games. So.
Yeah, I've driven by that stadium 100 times. Like it is literally right off of. Is it like an interstate or yeah? I've seen it a million times. So now you're going into year 8, right? Is that correct?
Yep.
Year 8. You admittedly just said that this wasn't really part of the plan. Like just talk about living in this now, and you just re-upped another 4-year contract. We won't say the amount of money, but it's a lot.
Right? Way to go!
Yeah, congratulations. Like this punting thing has provided you with an amazing life and an amazing future, and really, kind of given you and your family wealth that probably will last, for the rest of your life. Is that weird? All from football, all from punting?
And it is. I feel guilty at times. I mean, I'm sure anytime you have a job that doesn't seem like a job and you make, a good living off of it and can provide for your family, and then you see friends back home who are grinding at a job, a blue-collar job, and you just, like, you feel for it, and you feel a little bit of guilt from a standpoint of, like, I feel like I don't deserve this. So I feel like from that standpoint, it kind of goes back to what it says in Luke, like, to whom much is given, much is required. And for a while, it took me a while, I say just a few, 3 or 4 years in the league to realize, like, okay, like, I'm not just here. I'm not just playing football for me. Like, I need to do something with it. And then that kind of slowly snowballed into mine and my wife's foundation. And yeah, I mean, you kind of, I think there's growth when you have some financial stability to be like, okay, my family's good, because I think we are called to take care of our family and provide for our family. But
For sure.
after that, it's like, okay, well, we've been blessed like this. Like, we need to do something with it. And again, my wife is like gold, and she was one of the first ones that was like, again, this is 3 or 4 years ago, where it was like, okay, we need to do something. Like, whether a foundation or support somebody or something, this is, we're called to more, and we're called to do something. So
let's talk about that for a second, because I know exactly what he's talking about. It's like I don't know, for me, I'll drive somewhere and I'll see somebody struggling. You go into a gas station, you see a mom and a couple kids, and they're struggling, right? And I get this overwhelming feeling of guilt. Like, wait a second. Like, why am I where I'm at? These people work hard. Like, I legitimately deal with this on a daily basis. I know exactly what you mean. I don't really know I don't know what that is. I don't know how to fix it, but I'm glad he said it, because I was going to talk to you about this off camera. I shouldn't feel guilty for the talents that God has given me.
Correct.
Right? And I understand that I have taken risk, and I've worked very hard.
Correct.
And done a bunch of things that a lot of people aren't willing to do, yada, 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 all that good stuff. This isn't Tony Robbins. However, there's a lot of people worked a lot harder than me, man. There's a lot of people out there doing some crazy jobs right now, going home to stressful situations and health issues and all that kind of stuff. As Christian men, what are we supposed to do with this feeling? Like, what are we supposed to do with this? Like, I don't deserve this. You know what I mean? Yes. Again, I work hard. I get it. I don't need reassurance. I don't deserve to have extra money. I don't deserve to live a life where I have a beautiful family and a beautiful home, and all these other people are not doing that. Does that make sense?
It does. So it starts with this. That's a good posture to have, because first and foremost, you don't deserve your salvation. What we deserve is to be judged by a just judge. But we don't. We get graced by him. So let's just start right there. None of us deserve Jesus dying on the cross for us. So don't get by that too quick.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got to understand it's all his. You don't really have anything. You're just holding it for a minute. And the death rate in America is hovering right around 100%. And so what you're talking about is, are you trustworthy with what God has trusted you with? And we're to be good stewards and not be just driven by feelings. And so a part of it, every single believer is called to participate in a system of generosity. That's different than when I feel like it, I'm going to give a little change here and there. And so that's why we bring our first and best to Jesus through the local church, and you partner with church and all kinds of organizations to make sure systematically we're helping those kind of people in need. Because one of the things, if you dig in a little bit in Jacksonville, here's just what's true. If you need help, there's help. And so at 1122, we give away over 10% of what comes in to fuel and fund those kinds of things. The other thing you don't know is the deeper you dig into that story, sometimes you get a little more clarity on why some people have and why some people don't. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of life decisions. Sometimes life happens to people for sure, but honestly, the safety net in Jacksonville with all kinds of organizations that we partner with and we fund, it provides all kind of things like that. And then when you actively bring your first and best to the Lord and you consistently participate in a system of generosity, like you have just decided in my house, the big rock in my house is not what do we get and then God and people get leftovers, but God gets first and then that's how we orient our life. All of a sudden, you don't have to feel guilty anymore. And whenever the Lord nudges you to do something individual and specific, you should. But there's no guilt because you're like, I know that I live in generosity, you know? Like, I'm not spending all of it on me. I've decided we're going to live on less than we make. That's what, when you do that, it begins to take that guilt away. Now, guilt, not so good, but you don't ever want to lose that posture like, well, of course I deserve this because I'm better than you. That'd be a horrible, people like that. It never goes good. Because if you begin to act that way, more will never, ever, ever be enough.
Well, I'm self-aware enough to know that there's a pattern to this. Like there's you just asked Logan this, like there's especially with what I do, there was a period where it's like, wait, do I belong? Like, why am I here? Like, what,
I feel like that on stage.
Yeah.
You kidding? Dude, I just did this, I got a book coming out in October called Stand Firm and Act Like Men, and I asked a few of my friends to come sit around a round table and talk about it. And at the table was Michael Waddell, Jeff Foxworthy, Tim Tebow, Matt Chandler, Ben Stewart. I mean, this is the table, right?
Yeah.
And I sat there and I thought, holy crap.
Talking about your book.
Yes. And so, because you know how it is. You're just grinding, bro. You don't wait.
Yep.
Like, you're just getting ready. Sunday comes with an amazing regularity, right? And so you wake up on Monday and you got to study film and you got to go to practice and you just get ready. And then occasionally you stand out there, I'm sure, and you're like, I'm at the Pro Bowl. Oh my gosh. And I'm sitting at this table. And I told him, I was like, guys, at some point in my life, I have purchased a ticket to see every single one of you do what you do. Drew Parker writes all Luke Combs songs and country music guy. He's sitting next to me. And I was like, and now these are my friends. This is crazy. So I don't ever want to lose that.
Yeah.
Like, what am I doing here? This is like, I don't belong. And yet on the other hand, you should never apologize for your anointing. You just walk in it, whether that's to preach or punt or train quarterbacks.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's like this humble confidence.
Yeah.
Like, I'm only here because the Lord allowed me, but the Lord did choose me and equip me. And so I better step up and do what I've been called to do, not apologize for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Both
It's just
those things are true at the same time.
When Logan said that, I just, it is. It's a feeling that I deal with on a daily basis of, holy cow, how lucky am I that God chose me to not just marry the woman I married.
Yeah.
But to live the life that I'm living. And yeah, we're 10 years removed from having to move back in with parents because we were that broke. Like I've been on both sides of this, but I do, man. I'll find myself walking around. I'll look over at somebody and it's like, man, like, why do I have it so good?
Yeah. I had a guy, I'm pretty sure it was Brett Kern, punter with the Titans, retired now, but he told me after one game, he was like, I was like, hey, do you got any advice? Like, it's my early career. And then he was like, dude, just don't ever let it become uncool, And so now still, like, every time I walk out of run out of the tunnel, I always just hit like a little panoramic view of the stadium because as monotonous as the season can get, which sounds wild to someone who doesn't play the game, but like games just become like, it's just another day at work, Sure. And so he was like, just don't ever let it become uncool. So I always try to keep that little bit of amazement, and kind of remind myself of why I wanted to play football in the first place. And those long days at camp or those long days, in the weight room, they kind of, get a little bit easier, But I kind of we're talking about my goal this whole year. It's not, I wouldn't call it New Year's resolutions. I think those are kind of dumb, but something no one can ever keep up with. But whatever. A guy, Caleb Johnson, he is no longer with us, but he played with us for the past few years. He just reads books all the time. I mean, in the locker room, on the plane, bus, always reading. And I told him last year at the end of the season, I was like, hey, dude, like, you have motivated me to read some books. It's like my goal this year is to read 3 books. And one of them, I'm reading one of my buddy's books. I've read one before, but I'm trying to read another one. Spring Legion, Hunter Farrier. He writes turkey hunting books. And,
that's awesome.
But they're also a little deeper in turkey hunting, so it's pretty cool. But that's one of mine I'm wanting to read. And then Randy Alcorn, The Treasure Principle. That's another one. I'm almost done with that now.
That's
but it's
great
kind of talking
one.
about, and I got to hear him speak one time at an NFL conference. But yeah, that book's pretty incredible to kind of talking about how to spend your money and where your heart is. And I think like whenever your heart, like you kind of said it, when your heart's in the right place, and if you're immediately doing with your finances what you're called to do with your finances, there's not as much guilt from a standpoint of
right
having to help every homeless person you see on the side of the road, or having guilt of like, why do I have this money? Why am I blessed like this? Why does my family have? Why does me and my wife have a great marriage and my friends don't? You know.
Yep.
But then you see, if you can kind of do the right things on the front end of stuff, whether it's obviously 10% with your church, and then whatever you do with the rest, you don't have as much guilt if your heart's in the right place to begin with.
And Logan, I've known this dude for a long time, like we said, and he does not live an extravagant lifestyle. And he married a godly woman who ain't trying to play like NFL wife games. So you know what? He's got a good truck, but it's a straight up hunting truck, just big white 4-wheel drive truck. You know what I mean?
Yep.
He's got. I mean, every time I see him, he's got like a mossy old cat on, or you know what I mean? Just hunting clothes. And he got him some land close to where he grew up. And honest to goodness, you could get land anywhere, bro. But you kind of going back home, building a little camp out there. This very much is like the psalmist says, delight yourself in the Lord and he will give you the desires of your heart. Now, that doesn't mean like if you're a good boy, you get good toys. That's not what that means. That means what begins to happen is what you desire begins to change. Like you get more excited about what you can do with your foundation than what new shotgun you can buy. Because eventually, they all kill birds. So you're like, yeah. I mean, so it's neat. And then the other thing is when you're generous with first, you don't have to feel guilty. I mean, Paul tells Timothy that God has given us everything to enjoy. But you can't enjoy it if you're stealing what's God's.
That was good.
But when you got his, then dude, you should have sweet vacations that I am of the opinion you should spend money towards making memories, period.
Yeah.
And so if stuff helps with that, cool. But that's like you go places, how old are your kids?
4 and 2 right now.
Oh, baby, it gets better. Yeah. When they get a little bit older and you start to go on sweet trips, like in a few hours, I'm hitting a plane and going to South Africa. Last year, I took JP for his senior trip bow hunting in South Africa.
Yeah.
Now, did that cost some dollars? For sure. And I preached at a church and I trained some people, whatever. That's not really why I went. I went to take my boy, he's 18 years old, and he shot a zebra, an impala, a blessbok, and a wildebeest with a bow in South Africa. You'll never take that away.
Yep.
He's got those trophies hanging in his room. Every time somebody's like, what? He's like, my dad and I, when I was 18 years old, we're in Africa hunting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I make no apologies. And if you're like, well, you could have taken that money and fed the poor. We feed the poor, bro.
That goes back to what you said. If you do everything around the front end, then
Yeah,
no
and I
problem.
don't know that mine is. We do the same thing. We've stopped doing like Christmas gifts and it's trips because my kids are
even better.
I mean,
they're grown.
Yeah, 23 and 14.
Remember
so
when they
we
were
have
2
a
and 4?
blast. Yeah, no trips, no trips. I don't even talk. I'm not even mean about the money. I just mean bro, you're a punter in the NFL. You know what I mean?
The
Like
best punter in the NFL.
Right. Like just the blessings that we've all gotten.
Yeah.
And again, I recognize how hard all of us have worked. It just, that's the part that I'm still trying to process, and I'm dang near 50 years old.
Yeah, it's not about mistake though, man. I mean, I have friends who their only dream was to play in the NFL, and now they're selling cars. So like I know what you're talking about. I've used to deal with guilt from that standpoint, but I also go back to days like, one, God don't make mistakes.
Yeah.
Everything is just laid out in front of you, and that's kind of, just kind of roll with the punches and live the life that He's called you to live. So whether that's you selling cars, or you as a school teacher, or you as an NFL punter, that's, you kind of have to live in the peace of knowing like you're not the one that decided this life for you, but I also go back and look at the days where I was. And I've had someone remind me of this when I brought the same conversation up to them. They're like, dude, I remember days you were, 5th, 6th grade out there punting after school, so that like you have, if you look back, like you did work together.
Yeah, 1,000%.
So you have to live in the truth of that as well.
And the NFL ain't going to solve anything for anybody.
No.
You know some miserable football players?
Yep.
Yeah.
And do you know some joy-filled car salesmen?
Mm-hmm.
No
Yep.
doubt, dude. So if you think that thing out there, I mean, that's the myth of there.
Yeah.
When I get there, then everything will be fine. And be careful with that in raising kids. Like you think when they're 4 and 2, you're like, when they can finally, get beyond T-ball, then this will be, bro, just enjoy every moment that you're in because it goes by. Ask a couple of dads.
Right.
I'm telling you, JP.
Mm-hmm.
That joker's 20 years old now. I mean, I thought he was 4 last weekend. Like, it seems like it, dude. It just
it's crazy.
Goes, boop. So.
Yeah, me and my wife have a deal now. We can't say the phrase "I can't wait."
Oh yeah, good.
So we have we started this a couple years ago. We can say like I look forward to, or like That's going to be fun. But like, I can't wait. Like, we can't say it anymore because we were so caught up in, because honestly, like we're you said earlier, we're going to move back to Mississippi when we're done playing ball. Both, my parents, her parents are back there, and we both grew up in small town. And
I just need an invitation in spring.
Got you. Spring's tough. Spring's booked. I'm just kidding.
No, I mean for me to come to you and chase them birds around.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Let's go. I'll get some tags.
I always tell people my farm's open invitation except for March through May. That's a private invite.
I'll just call. You can shoot him. I'll call.
Just come on, man. Cody comes too much anyway.
Oh, well, yeah. That's our mutual friend from here.
Okay.
From here.
Yeah. Cody's a killer too. But anyways, so we want to be back in Mississippi one day. So we got caught up in, man, I can't wait till we're back home and like we get to watch Coop and T-ball and Tate and T-ball and go to Sunday lunch with, your parents and all the things. And then one day it hit her. She was like, hey, can we stop saying that? Because like we're in the NFL right now. I get to take our kids to pregame and watch you punt a football for a living. And like we have to stop living in tomorrow because like right now it's pretty sweet.
Pretty sweet.
So yeah, we definitely had to cut out that.
There's a lot of wisdom. I think we're going to adopt that. I'm going to take that home right now.
Same. Same. Yeah. It's genius. It's genius. Because it's like our day-to-days are pretty dang good, man. Like, the presence. Like, I mean, you're talking about the kids. How much would you give, to just go back to moments,
right.
And usually those moments aren't moments that you set up. Usually those moments aren't the I can't wait moments. Usually those moments just happen.
Right.
And if you're not present, you're going to miss them.
That's why I took my kids hunting so much. I was just looking for those moments.
That's right.
And all right, a couple of hunting dad advice. Okay, you love it way more than they love it.
Yeah.
All right. But they might love it. Just don't ruin it. So if the weather's bad, bail. Mm-hmm. Don't ever make them suck it up. Because everybody I know that hates hunting is because their dad made them sit on a bucket in Ohio in -3 degrees and they lost a finger. And they're like, that ain't fun. So when they're little, you're not even hunting. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you're going to get there late, no problem. You're going to leave early, no problem. Let them use, like even during deer season, I'd bring all my turkey. I'd bring every call I have. Yeah. And I might make them wait 90 seconds and then be like, try this one. They're like calling ducks and we're in a deer blind, whatever, dude. Right. And then also put a little prize on the back end. Like you get to drive the 4-wheeler and you get to decide where we eat and all of that. Because all you want them to do is come back.
Yeah.
And then over time, when they get a little bit older and they get it, because now, JP and I yesterday are shooting our bows in the backyard and I'm showing pictures of deer up in Georgia and, he can't wait. And that's just all I'm doing. Honestly, and I love to hunt for sure, and I would hunt without them. But if I had to do some other thing, if they wanted to garden, I'd figure out gardening just to do it with.
That's such good advice because when I grew up, Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, and the guy that would take me hunting was a buddy of mine's dad, and he was a militant hunter.
Oh,
bro.
That's terrible.
And it was like we were talking about this the other day. Yeah. I'm like, I just never went back.
And I am for me. I love it. I mean, it's kind of the worse the better.
Yeah.
Steve Randella talks about there's two kind of fun. There's fun, then there's suck fun.
Yeah.
But you remember suck fun way better.
Yeah.
Like when it's raining sideways, but then that thing hammers at like 2 o'clock and you're like, what just happened? That story, when it's pretty and you sit down and it gobbles on the roost and just comes in strutting and you shoot it, you forget that one kind of quick.
Right.
Yeah. See, I quickly was like, I'm going to go over there to that golf course over there.
Sometimes I won't be.
No, you're right about the moments. That's, I forgot who it was, but someone heard a speaker one time. He was like, just don't miss the moment. There's
That's it, dude.
Every single day has obviously it has multiple moments, but every single day there's, when you lay your head down at night, like find a gratitude list throughout that day. I heard Judah Smith say this, pastor over on the West. I'm sure y'all heard of Judah.
I know Judah.
So anyway, I've heard him say this is a few years ago, like create a gratitude list in your prayer every night. And so now I do like every night. I mean, I can have a terrible day. I mean, it can be just, an awful day on the farm, a tractor break, whatever, and didn't get anything done and all the things, and you had a flat. And then, but at night, like find something to be grateful for. And, but yeah, every day has a cool moment in it. And I think if we try to find the great moments and the good moments of the day instead of dwelling on the negative ones.
So here's something I'll share. Same kind of thing. I've challenged our church. This hit me one time. I was sitting in the woods. I was hunting, feeling sorry for myself. Mm-hmm. How pitiful is that? I'm sitting in the woods, writing a sermon at the greatest church on the planet with the greatest people, and I'm feeling sorry for myself I can't even remember why right now. Mm-hmm. And so I decided to make a gratitude list. And I'm 51 years old. So here are 51 things that I am thankful for. And just do it, man. And some of them are very, very serious, like my salvation and the ability to preach and religious freedom, things like that. And then some of them are like cool breezes in the piney woods of South Georgia. You know, some of them are big, whatever. And then anytime I find myself, because we all live on a continuum between entitlement and gratitude. You're somewhere on that continuum. And anytime I feel myself kind of thinking the world owes me or God owes me or my family, do they know how good they have it? You know, when you get to that, right? I bust this dude out and I just start reading through it, and it just kind of, it doesn't take me I get to like number 7 and I'm just like, Lord, you're so good to me. What am I griping about?
Yeah. And that's really what we've been talking about. When we talk about the guilt, the guilt largely is gratitude. It's like realizing how lucky you are, right? How blessed you are. And that's what I was going to say, because I do think, you know, I'm self-aware enough to know that if I don't want to get rid of the guilt by thinking what you said, but like, oh, I do belong here. I'm supposed to be here. This is owed to me, right? And that gratitude keeps you from getting there as well.
Yeah, one of them that I put on the list is the gift to preach. Because according to the Bible, preaching is a gift.
Yeah.
Like, some people got it, some people don't got it, right? Like God has given you a gift to kick a ball. And think about this. Of all the times in human history, if you lived any other time, it would be a worthless gift. Yep. Now it is a multi-million-dollar gift. The ability to train quarterbacks. Yeah. So what in Rome? Right. You know what I mean? Right. But today it is a valuable asset. And so not only did he give you the gift, but he chose that you would be born in a time where you could flourish because of that. And so that's one place where we just got to be super, super grateful.
Yeah, there's Toxie Hayes. He started Mossy Oak in West Point, Mississippi. But he said this thing. I heard this a few years ago. I think he said it on a podcast or a video or something. But he was like, this season, like, I just challenge all you guys, like, don't miss the little things. And I think there's like a evolution, and this is, again, with life too, but hunting especially. But as a kid, you just grow up, you just want to go, right? Like, you've seen it. I mean, my kid's about to be 4, and he just wants to go sit in turkey woods and, you know, look at flowers and mushrooms. He loves that. And so there's that sense of amazement and wonderment that you just want to go in the woods and be with Dad and, like, look at flowers and throw rocks at trees and all the things. And then there's this, like, phase of, like, I would say for me, when I got to be about 10 to 15, 16 years old, it's like, I want to kill everything.
Kill them all.
Right.
Yep.
Like, how many deer can I kill? How many ducks can we kill? How many fish can we catch? Like, all the things. And slowly that develops into kind of back to that sense of wonderment. You know, and I see now, like, obviously if I go turkey hunting, like, I want to kill a turkey, but there's also, like, me leaving the woods, not hearing a turkey. Well, I might go home and tell my wife that I saw, like, you know, I saw a dogwood bloom today, first bloom of the season. You know, like, or, like, little things. And you when you focus on kind of, for us, my wife calls it God winks. That's what she, like, we'll be walking through the woods, and we first started dating, we were turkey hunting, and she was like, oh, there's a God wink over there. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I thought it was a kind of flower that she called a God wink. I had no idea, because it was usually flowers, you know. And after a while of us turkey hunting and her just calling it God winks, I was like, I thought you said that God wink was yellow. And she was like, no. A God wink is like something you look at that it's almost like God just put it there to like wink at you, be like, I created that. So now, like, we'll be hunting and you know, we'll just try to find more God winks and focus on the little things and not miss those little, kind of back to the moments, but, like, not miss the little special things, you know, throughout the day or hunting trip, whatever.
So I got 3 questions, and they're going to relate. What's your best punt ever?
I would say Green Bay last year. It was like 70-something yards. It went out like the little – it almost hit the pylon, and it just bounced left of the pylon. So
I remember that now that you say it, yeah.
People ask, like, they're like, how do you get it to bounce left? I'm like, brother, honestly, if I'm that far, I'm aiming at the pylon, and if you hit at the pylon, it either bounces right or left. So that's kind of – and just get lucky.
76. Okay. What's your worst punt?
Oh, man. Honestly, probably last year. So it's kind of funny. I had this I went through a battle last year at the end of the season. We can kind of talk about it for just a second if we have time. But I had a pretty good season going, and it was honestly my best season ever. And it was, you know, I'm not big on averages and yardages and records and all the things. But if I finish pretty much if I part out, so to speak, with golf, like, I would set an NFL record and for net punting yards in a season. And there was that was kind of in the back of my head. Not that that's why I messed up.
Sure.
Whatever. So that was kind of like, oh, that'd be pretty cool, And I just, best season I've ever had. And just kind of rolling, like, kind of like baseball terms, like you were seeing like a beach ball up there. The ball was just flying. And went to Las Vegas. It was probably our second or third last game of the season. And first couple punts of the game were like, okay. And I ended up shanking a punt. Like, I was probably standing close to the goal line. And again, shanks just don't happen. And if they happen, you just chalk it up as an anomaly. Like, couldn't tell you what happened, unless you shank multiple. But if you're punting good and shank one, it's just like, forget it, whatever. And so I shanked one and kind of get to the sideline, and we're kind of like, me and Ross kind of laughing about it, like, holy smokes, that was terrible. Like, where'd that even come from? Well, then I went back and hit another bad punt. And then, the way it turns out, if you're punting bad, you're going to punt 7-8 times that game. So we punted several times. And it got to a point in the fourth quarter, I told Ross, I was like, dude, we got to go home. Like, we cannot punt again. Like, we just cannot punt again. And so all the things that, obviously the record deal was, and I wasn't dwelling on that, but that was something that was in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
It'd be cool. And so obviously that was gone, and I get home, and we were in Vegas, so I got home real late. And when I walk in, obviously my wife's very good about comforting you, but also humbling you, and because she's not gonna sugarcoat it. Well, that night she's like, gave me a hug, like, I love you, like, are you good? All the things that a wife's supposed to say after her husband has a bad day. And then when I woke up in the morning, it was like, yo, what was that?
At least she gave you the night.
Yeah, so she gave
That's
me the
funny.
night.
I asked Gretchen, don't give me any feedback on, like, I preach on Thursday night. If I need to change something for Sunday, like Saturday, feel free to tell me. But give me 24 hours to, like, at least live in the illusion that I know what I'm doing.
So then the next couple of days, man, was tough. It was just like I went to practice on Wednesday, I guess, and I couldn't punt a ball on Wednesday. Thursday, couldn't punt hardly. I mean, I'd never been more, this sounds crazy, I'd never been more nervous in a practice than I was on that Wednesday. And again, I played, that was year 7 last year. But I wasn't even in a slump until I had 1 or 2 bad punts in the game. And then, I mean, my head was shot.
Oh, wow.
And I'm a big, like, feel guy. Like, I don't watch a ton of film on myself. I'm just like, if I hit a punt, I'm usually like, blow it off, like, whatever, like, hit it better, And but that, I mean, I was in my head. I started watching film of myself, and I was just getting, like, really in a rut of just struggling, kind of like a bat, hitter at the plate. And I honestly, I had to start praying so much just to have peace. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I need the season to end, like, today, because I can't play Sunday. And honestly, it got to finally I got over kind of like how you're talking about you felt bad for yourself. Like, I had a little bit of that. And my wife was kind of one of the ones that was like, hey, just get in your word. Like, go sit on the back porch and just do you. You know what I mean? And so I did. I started having, like, my Bible time and prayer time, like, doubled in time because, like, I was like, I need it, And so what I found through that rut I was in was that I was reading the Bible every morning, and I was doing my prayer time. But in that moment, I needed, like, double. And I think that's real. I think sometimes we need that. But in that season of my life, like, I needed it. And then obviously the season ended, and I made the Pro Bowl and everything. And it was just all that's a blessing. But it was almost like I was so high and so confident. And again, not in a cocky standpoint, but everything was just perfect. But I kind of had to be knocked down a little bit. And but yeah, it was just it showed that in that time there was nothing that could make me feel better or get over that rut I was in than literally just diving in the Word and having quiet time and just figuring it out.
Well, that's what we talk about, getting uncomfortable all the time. It's kind of it has become the theme of Built for More. And that's what I'm preaching this week. God calls Elijah to go to King Ahab and say there's going to be a drought. And then God says, go hang by the brook Cherith, and I'm going to send you bread and meat every morning and evening. You can drink out of the brook. And then there's this one little line, and it just says, and then one day the brook dried up. But if the brook didn't dry up, then Elijah might not ever leave that little area and go heal this widow's son, call down fire against the prophets of Baal. Like, all the big things that he was about to do, he might not have ever done them if he didn't if God didn't let him get uncomfortable back here. All right, leads to my third question. So what's your best turkey hunt?
Oh, man. This is tough
because you love it, right? I mean, you love it like I love it.
Yeah.
It's actually your favorite sport.
This is literally, I feel like I was put on this earth turkey hunt. Yeah. But
gobble, gobble.
It's tough because like your first turkey is just always like that wasn't the best hunt by far because me and my dad were sitting there with a decoy out and he didn't like he was a big duck hunter and deer hunter but didn't turkey hunt a lot.
Yep.
He's just a cattle farmer, and this turkey just ran around the corner and just stopped by the decoy and it was a long beard. My dad's like, shoot him. Yeah, so that was my first turkey, but again, it was just like I dreamed of turkey hunting for a couple of years before I actually killed one.
It's hard.
So that was pretty incredible. Man, my wife killed her first long beard with me. That was pretty cool. She killed Jake.
I think you sent me a video of that one.
Probably so. That was very special just because she cries with everything. Like every deer she kills, every turkey she kills, every fish she catches, like she cries. Like over like one time she caught it. Now I think she was pregnant at the time. She caught a redfish. We were redfishing. It was like just a slot red, and it had a couple extra spots like kind of on its back, and so those are always cool. Kind of gobwinks that we were talking about. But she caught this fish, and I was like, just hold him in the water, you know. I think we were at the jetties. And I just look up, and she's bawling. I'm like, are you okay? And she was like, yeah, it's just so beautiful. Like, I don't know. And she just cries with everything. So it's everything she kills or catches is so awesome. So yeah, that's such a loaded question about the best turkey hunt.
But I knew your answer was not going to be about you.
Yeah, no.
That's it. I knew his answer was not going to be like, well, one time I had one gobble and it's never that, dude. Yeah. It's always, so yeah, my two are, the most influential man in my life, Lars Peterson, one of our elders, went down with a stroke a couple years ago. Bad, dude. Like when I went to see him in the hospital, this is not good. He could not lift his right arm. He could talk good. And then my wife is a physical therapist. She's a stay-at-home mom, but that's what she used to do. And so she just would go to his house and do his therapy, his in-home therapy, you know. And she was like, we have to have a goal. That's the best way. Because if people don't have, like if you're not training for something, you just kind of feel like you're beating the air, like Paul talks about, kind of random. And I was like, okay, opening day of turkey season is 4 months away. Now, this dude can't hardly walk and move his right side. And I gave Gretchen a turkey chair. And I was like, he's got to be able to walk on a dirt road, sit down in that chair, and put a gun on his knee and pull the trigger. Mm. And then sure enough, opening day, dude, I have never scouted like this in my entire life. And Petey and I get out in the woods and one gobbles early, and it was like a Mossy Oak show. Yeah. Just comes strutting down the road, and he can't see that good either. And I can, I'm like, here he comes. He's like, where is he? And then finally that thing turns, and I clucked, and he came out of strut, and he slammed him. And dude, I was like your wife. Yeah, I'm back there crying my eyes out because I didn't think this brother was going to walk again. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's that. And then when JP shot his first one, Keith Kelly at D-Dot?
Oh, yeah.
So Keith had lost his son in a freak car accident over there.
Cole a lot.
Yeah, Cole. I mean, it's sad, dude. And so I've hunted with Keith for a long time. Well, the following year, this would be the first year after he lost his son, he calls up me and JP, and he's like, hey, I normally have a youth to take on youth season because youth season opens a couple weeks before the adults get to go. And he's like, do you mind sitting in Cole's spot? Oh, wow. And so me and JP and Keith go, and Keith had a slate call, but it was a glass call, and it had Cole's picture under it.
Yeah, that's cool.
And we got to be there. So Keith calls in this bird, and JP and Cole were the exact same age. So he would have been 14 years old.
That's
awesome. Wow. And then it was just so that's the thing about it, man. It ain't about you. Mm-hmm. Like when you're making these memories, your best memories are going to be about other people, and you just get to be a part of it instead of them being a part of your best memory, you know?
Yeah, 100%. I want to go back to the shank thing real quick.
Yeah, that's
because I'm super interested in this. Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good.
Because I have experienced this with clients, right? Where it's like a shank can be a number of different things. I remember there was a golf movie named Tin Cup. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. He talks about this. Yeah, he talks about this. Yeah. And it can be one of those things at their level where it's like to the normal person, it doesn't look bad, but they're like, wait, I'm not catching that right. Right? There's something that don't feel right about this. And then it's just this pursuit to figure it out. And what ends up happening is you end up giving yourself 8 more problems because you're wrong on what you think it is. Oh, yeah. And it becomes just this whole mental thing. Like I've been right in the middle of it with guys before, and it's brutal. Looking back on it, when did you get out of that? Did you punt better at you said you had 2 games left?
I think 2 games, yeah.
So did you Do you feel like you had it solved before the season ended?
So, yes, to an extent.
And this isn't a football question, by the way.
No,
Like,
100%.
Yeah, I mean, that was your Pro Bowl year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a football answer. But so there's a lot of factors going into it too, because we vote, players vote on Pro Bowl, and like fan voting, the NFL wants the fans to think that fan voting matters, and it doesn't really.
Okay.
Just being honest.
Yeah.
Throw it out there to everybody.
Yeah.
It does not.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of it's a lot of player vote and coaches vote. So it's like a third, something like that. So I think it's like maybe on Wednesday or Thursday, which would be after when that Vegas game was when everyone voted on Pro Bowl, coaches, players, everything. So then that's in your mind as well. I just had this terrible game, and now we're voting on all this stuff. And again, none of this. I don't play ball for accolades, but everyone wants to be told good job.
Sure.
Regardless of your job position, everyone wants to be told good job. So and then now that you have kids, like I want my kids to say that their dad was a Pro Bowler. Like, that's just really cool. So there was a lot of that there too. And then the next week we played Tennessee at home, and I think I only punted like twice, and they were both like just not good punts. And like the whole season leading up, and they weren't shanks, but the whole time leading up this whole season, I mean, the ball, I was punting a beach ball. I mean, it was just, everything was flying good. I would close my eyes. That's kind of how I felt. And so now I'm in this rut at the end of the year, and it's just, I think we had one more game after the Tennessee game. And I think that week after, this is a 2-week process of me like diving into my word, like quiet time's extra longer. This was the week after Vegas and the week after Tennessee. And then we had, I think that week before we played our last game against it was the Colts at Indy. I mean, I might have punted 100 balls at practice one day. And I was just, I got a couple old balls and went in the indoor and was just banging balls into the roof. And there was a little bit of aggression just getting taken out, which I think is okay.
Mm-hmm.
And there was also a sense of like, I just need to like find the sweet spot on my foot. But it was mostly aggression. And I think I punted probably roughly 100 balls into the roof that day, just like letting it rip. And I think Ross and Cam were in there for a little bit because we always, I mean, you've seen it. Like, we practice first of the practice. That's when our punt and kicking periods are. And then we like go inside and play punt golf, hang out. If we need to have something to work on, like we'll work on it. But honestly, there's a lot of like, rest yourself. Like, it's like a pitcher. Like, you're not going to throw every single day. And
he said his biggest fear is to not miss the huddle at the end of practice.
Yeah, you just got to be there, right?
Got to be there.
But at the end of the day, like punters and kickers, out of sight, out of mind, do your job on Sunday. You can do what you want to do. And again, I hear stories about guys that go in and play Xbox, whatever, other teams, but we're not doing that. Like we're still dialed in and we're out there doing stuff.
Sure.
Anyway, so we always go hang out in the indoor, and both of them just like walked out. They were like, I got you. We're going to go out here. And I just, between me and that roof, just figured it out, But I think there's times that's okay to just let some aggression out like that. And then the last game of the season, I punted good and, obviously blessed enough to make the Pro Bowl. So, but there was a lot of growth there in my mind. That was anytime I feel like I have to fix something, like it's like, don't try to fix it. Just kind of let God fix it and let it all work out. And it's a very cliche answer, but for me to have those extra long quiet times and dive into the word, that honestly, it kind of,
I don't think it is a cliche answer at all.
And good on your wife.
Oh, yeah.
To say, here's your Bible, go sit on the back porch.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, 100%, because anybody listening to this, I mean, what we're talking about is a slump, really. Like, I mean, if you're a salesman, you can go into a slump. If you're anything, you can go into a slump as a husband, isn't it?
Right.
And I don't think it's cliche because I don't think a lot of people think about detaching completely and saying, I'm going to use this time, I'm going to spend extra time not punting, but in the Word of God.
Yeah.
With my wife, with my family, stuff like that. I think that's actually, I wouldn't have thought of that. I don't think it's cliche at all. That's why I wanted to go back to it because it's not shanking a punt. You're shanking a punt maybe that you haven't, to use y'all's example, sold a car in a month.
Yeah.
You haven't closed a mortgage loan in whatever. You haven't done whatever it is, right? There's a process to get back into that, and I think for some people that process is time with God, making sure you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, number one, right? But just being still and listening. And I haven't done that.
But also,
I will, moving forward.
What you talk about a lot, Denny, is the amount of work these dudes put in order. Because let's say, how many times, on average, how many times do we punt a game? 4?
How many times?
5?
Probably 3 to 5.
Yeah. So your whole life is evaluated on 3 plays times 17. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like 3 times a week. We're going to see if you're valuable or not. So, but he grinds through this thing too. So part of it is not either or.
Right.
It's not like the coach's like, hey, what's up with punting? We're like, well, I prayed about it.
Yeah.
Like,
no.
You better
100%.
pray.
Yeah.
And kick 100 balls in the indoor.
Yeah.
Like, and so guys need to hear that too.
Yeah.
Now, if you just think I got this, again, Jeff Kopp told me this. Pete Carroll told him. The 3 most dangerous words a grown man can say is, I got this, because you ain't got this. We need the Lord. We need each other, right?
Yeah.
So it's both and.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because everything you do, it's not just like how many times you punt, but you work out to be a punter. You stretch to be a punter.
Yeah, right.
You're patterning movements your entire life to punt a football, right? Like, how many times do you just drop a ball? You didn't forget how to do all of that.
Yeah.
Like, it's just super interesting because I fall in that same camp. Somebody tells me I'm not throwing it well. Okay, well, come in. Let's look at it. 3 hours later, it's like, I have no idea, Jordan. But then you know what? 2 days later, it just fixes itself.
Yeah.
Like, it works out. So that's why I was curious about that. But I think that's a good word, though, man. Is like, if you're struggling with something, maybe the answer is not pressing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the answer is just relaxing, praying, getting in the Bible, getting some alone time, that type of stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, because you know you have it in you.
Oh, yeah.
You can look in the rearview mirror and be like, all right, the Lord's faithful. The Lord's giving me these gifts. You know, you didn't go, you weren't 5'8" the next day.
Right.
Right? It's not like your leg got shorter.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Right.
All he could think about was the Raiders aren't voting for me for the Pro Bowl.
No, again,
no, I know.
Reiterate, that's not why I was
obviously.
No, I know.
But all those things go in your head. But you kind of you talked about how, like, you're not gonna be like, God, please fix this, and you just sit at home waiting to the next game. Like, God calls you to work, and God calls you to kind of dive in more, and He gives you free will to kind of figure it out and work harder. But I've heard a joke about a guy on an island, and he prayed God would release him, and he sent a boat, a plane, and all the things, and he died and went to heaven. And God was like, bro, I sent you three people to come save you, So there is that as well. But no, Mo told me, Mo very well. He's our team chaplain, and he told me one time, this was 3 or 4 years ago, and I was going through a season of actual depression. It just sounds ridiculous. I just signed a new contract here back in like 21, had my first kid. Marriage was incredible, had the coolest job in the world, and every single day I woke up praying for peace and joy, which sounds wild, but I was. And I've spoken to a few churches and schools, and I've told the story, but I went to Mo about it and was like, Mo, I'm dealing with this. Like, I've been the happiest kid my entire life. Like, I don't know what's going on. But he told me, he was like, just try to pray that God gets you out of your comfort zone for something. Like, maybe like you feel like that because like you're kind of similar to like a Jonah and Nineveh situation.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, well, I don't think I feel like I've been called anything recently. He was like, well, just pray about it, and maybe that'll open up a scenario. And then so I started praying that prayer, and then next thing you know, a couple months later, I get asked to speak at a church and then a youth rally, and then Mo asked me to speak to the team and all these things. And so if you do pray that prayer, be careful. It's real.
Did y'all see the Scotty Scheffler quote this week?
Well, I watched that little interview.
Yeah, that's like 5 minutes. I'll send it to you.
Please do. I missed
It's phenomenal. It's talking about a similar thing about, you go and you win and you work, and all of a sudden you're like, wait, is this it? Mm-hmm. And then he just kind of goes into details about what he's learned through the massive amount of success that he's had. I thought it was 5 minutes explaining that better than anybody I've ever heard explain it.
Yeah, I want to see it.
Yeah, it's if those listen, if you haven't heard it, go look it up. And it was all over this week. I mean, fantastic stuff. But that is a thing too. That is like you're in the NFL now. You're a Pro Bowl punter. Like, is this it?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not.
Right.
But, career goals, what's kind of left out there for you?
There's not, man. I get asked this a lot. Like, what's your career goal? What's your season goal or anything like that? Not the only season goal I ever have, like just from a punting standpoint, is no touchbacks. That sounds like a dumb goal, but net punting, sometimes you can't control it. Coverage, if they block it up right, they might get a return, or no blocks. Like, you can't control some of those things. The only thing I can control as a punter is no touchbacks. Like, that's my goal. And so yeah, season goals and career goals, there's really none. I think when there's not, and Jags fans might hate to hear this, but I feel like when there's not a ton of like, I have to do this, I have to get this, then it makes the on field a little bit easier because you don't have expectations that are, well, if I had a goal of breaking the NFL record, then the shank would have like absolutely just again, I got in a rut, but it would have just killed me. And I'd be
Yeah.
like, why am I even playing this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the closest I'll ever be. Like, that wasn't a goal. Like, it was a thing that would have been cool. But so for me as a career goal is literally just, I mean, honestly, play as long as I'm supposed to play football and go back home and live in Mississippi with my kids.
Right. It's the same thought as the identity thing, right? Like if your identity is football, then when it's over, you're over.
Yep.
Same exact thought. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, Logan, you were a wise and grounded man.
Oh, man, I've had a lot of – my grandfather was a Southern Baptist preacher to about 150 people, and my dad leads music at our church. I've had a lot of people ahead of me that's kind of tried to instill in me, I guess, priorities from a standpoint of, you know,
good,
have God first and everything kind of works out. But, yeah, I mean, it's all growth, man. Me and my wife joke all the time about, like, you know, we used to, in high school, like, you get mad at your parents because, like, why wouldn't they let you do this? Like, that makes no sense, all the things. And then, like, you realize, like, they were just trying to figure it out. And, like, now you're a parent, you're just like, what are we doing? We have no idea what we're doing, you know?
You know what I want to do is I want to do one of these with the wife.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, can you imagine? I mean, she's sitting in the stands and her whole world also revolves around, like, how you're not her whole world, but you know what I mean? Like, she can't control that.
She's way more nervous than you are.
So nervous.
Yeah.
So nervous.
I mean, punters, kickers, like, y'all aren't out there every play.
It's so funny how, because I know a lot of these guys now. I mean, I've been here a long time. I do the chapels and Bible studies sometimes. You know, Mo brings me in, and a bunch of y'all come to church here. I watch Jaguars games completely different.
Yeah.
Like, I might, you know, I'm kind of watching a game and then we're about to punt and I'm like, hold on.
Yeah.
Because my dude, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and like when Josh and Tyler were playing, you know, I don't even know where the ball is.
Yeah.
Because I'm just looking at the guard and tackle, you know, it just changes everything. So.
I've always thought about the wife thing from a kicker punter perspective. Because, like, quarterbacks out there all the time. Like, they're going to get used to it, right? But
and they get a lot of help.
You shank one, and then that's the news.
Bad game automatically.
Automatically, yeah. And she's got to hear. She's in the stands. She's got to hear all this stuff.
Man, I tell her all the time, like, away games, just do not wear, like, and this is serious, like, don't wear a number. Like, you can obviously wear Jag stuff, but don't wear a number because
no, smart.
No, seriously.
Morgan Wells would wear, you know Morgan, right, bro? She, you know, Josh is playing. She'd go to an away game. And, I mean, she would get like a bedazzled Levi jacket with like 72 is my man. I love it so much.
And that position's a little safer.
Yeah.
Because, like, no one's ever going to, unless obviously if you give up a sack, but no one looks at that, like, oh, that was 72, you know? But
yeah.
As a punter, a kicker, a quarterback, like,
yeah.
I always tell her, don't wear a number because people would jump on her. And she's had, you know, my wife's feisty now. She'll, you know, she's from Mississippi. She grew up on a farm, you know, so she'll duke it out with somebody, I'm sure. But she had several times after games, but I had to hold my mouth.
You got any insight on the Jags this year? You're at practice every day. You've been there for 8 years. See Travis Hunter out there doing crazy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he's a freak, obviously.
Good.
Love Trevor. Trevor's a dog. But
no doubt.
Every year, I just everyone has good players.
Yeah.
Every NFL team has great players. But I will say I've never seen our locker room grind so much in the offseason as we did. I mean, it kind of felt like first day of OTAs, we had a conditioning test, and we never have conditioning tests in OTAs. It's pretty laid back, and we were grinding. So I've never seen that aspect since I've been here. I've also I kind of love the young vibe we have between James and Liam. And
Coach Liam and Coach Bo go here. I mean, so I get to talk to him a little bit, you know. And dude, I know about this much, but they invited me to come to some practices, and it feels good. And what my favorite thing about it is I walked into Big Bo's office and I'm like, congratulations. He's like, for what? We hadn't played one game. I love that attitude so much. He's like, yeah, quit patting yourselves on the back, Jacksonville. Wait until
they go win the Super Bowl. He'd still say the same.
No, he would. I love him so much.
We haven't won two, like
right.
Yeah.
But he is. He's like, yeah, we look great out here with nobody trying to stop us. Yep. We all have the same color jersey. You know how he is. But he's great, man.
I've known Liam since his first Kentucky stint as an OC.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He's a football dude, man. It's a football dude. I like Liam a lot. Yeah.
It's good to see, like, I don't know, it's good to see, like, James at the head. And then Tony, I love Tony too.
No doubt.
Being a part of it. But
because he's actually been there. Like, he knows.
James is such a football nerd, and, like, I love it. Like,
I think we need that.
Yeah, he's awesome.
We got to go, but I do want to ask you one thing on that, because you have been a part of some teams that unfortunately didn't go the way everybody thought. Whether it was injuries a couple years ago, you guys are going, and then you hit just a nasty streak, just a unfortunate streak. I think Baltimore game is what started it, correct? Like the 2 years ago.
There's a lot of speculation. There's a lot of terrible towel rumors. Maybe something we did up there in Pittsburgh.
I hate the Steelers.
But
the Bible says thou shalt not steal.
It's funny. After that Steelers game, we kind of had some injuries and struggled the rest of the season. But anyways, yes. Right.
So, but just talk about navigating through, because on the outside, I think people see professional athletes and they're like, I wish they would win a football game. You know what I mean? Like they don't care enough. They're out there shaking hands with the opposing teams after the game. Like a lot of that kind of stuff, right? But just talk about, a whole locker room full of guys who their entire life has gone towards winning football games and having to walk through a terrible time like that or a terrible end of the season like that together. What does that do for a team or to a team?
Yeah, both 2 and 4. There's honestly whoever's at the helm kind of, believe it or not, kind of controls how the whole team reacts. Loved Coach Peterson to death. I mean, big duck hunter, hung out there farm with him. With the son, duck hunted some this offseason, and just great people. But having him at the helm when you were struggling was a sense of relief from a standpoint of, one, he's a believer. He's seems to be a great father. And so, like, having that person at the leadership role kind of helps you navigate some of that stuff. But it is hard. I mean, you have guys who, like, I obviously didn't play in the NFL sometimes. So you had a view of what professional athletes – they get paid. Like, they don't care if they want to lose. Like, you see some quarterback go struggle, throw 6 picks. We're like, all right, well, he made however much money today. Like, that was always my thought. But then, we do our Bible studies, our team Bible studies on Mondays for a reason, to do it the day after a game. Like, if it was a great game, we dive into the Word. If it was a bad game, we dive into the Word and talk about it, And seeing and kind of honestly hearing a lot of guys, and it's pretty open dialogue in our Bible studies, but hearing some things guys are dealing with, especially when it gets to the end of the season and it's a grind and we've lost 6 straight or whatever. It's like the outside world doesn't see that, but like it's tough. And then you have to go to work the next day. And when you're out of the playoffs, you have to go to work the next day, understanding that you might have a season-ending injury in a game tomorrow that does not matter. So there's a ton of pressure from that standpoint, and just the mental strain. Again, I'm a punter, so I might play 3 to 4 legit snaps a game, but some of these guys that have to go lead offense down the field, and they're dealing with a lot of off-the-field issues and in their mind, and struggling and feeling not worthless, but like you feel low when you have a bad game, and like that stuff's legit, and trying to navigate it. And so that's one reason we do them on Mondays, just to kind of
that makes sense.
Dive into the Word regardless whether it was good or bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think my point in asking that question is just like it does affect these guys. Like it is like it's their whole life. Yep. Or a lot of their life.
Well, if it affects some fat guy sitting on the couch screaming at his TV, like me, I mean, the word fan,
that sounded personal.
The word fan does come from fanatic. Yeah. These people like me are crazy. We're crazy. It don't make sense, but we love it. So then, but here's the thing, man. Season ticket holder. I'm a hometown guy. I'm Jags all the way. I'll be at all the games. I'll be there late because I preach, and then I get there about the second quarter. That's why I always want to see your wife, by the way, when I'm coming in. She's sneaking out to get a hot dog or something. But bro, when we go, I'm gonna be like, been here since 2003. That's when we moved to town.
Dude,
man,
we
my first year here, and you can go. I'm sorry.
No, go. No.
First year here, me and my wife were. I guess I played the first season. Whatever. We were at I think we were at a Cheddar somewhere. We had just been fishing, and my waiter walks up and he was like, yo, like, you're the punter, right? And again, second year, no one, barely anyone knows me now, which is awesome. But this dude knew me. He was a diehard fan. And I mean, he was our waiter, and he just rips his shirt up and had a big Jaguar tattoo. I was like, bro, we are in the restaurant. And but that was like one of my first tastes of like just diehard Duval,
Let's go.
That's awesome. No, I mean, we talked about it with, I think it was with Ike Bucker. Yeah. Like, you get small market teams that win,
bro,
and it is a blast. It's like the whole city's on fire.
So much fun.
This is the year.
I am. Well, I mean, listen, I'm a good news guy. I preach the good news for.
Let's go. Give us some good news here. Make a prediction, Kobe Martin.
Right now, I'm a hopeless optimistic every year. You know what I mean? And my expectation levels are different between the Georgia Bulldogs and the Jags. I have like different things, but I don't know. Me and JP, not that we know a thing at all about football, but we went to a practice the other day, and we get in our truck, and JP's like, Dad, did you feel it? I felt it, son. You know, it was, and then all these Instagram reels started coming out, and like Travis Hunter had that little tip ball to himself pick, you know, all that stuff's going on, and we were back and forth. We were just like, I felt, you feel it. This is it, man. This is it. I believe you believe.
Y'all book the hotel in Super Bowl,
bro. Why not?
Yeah, let's do it.
That's how. That is a part of the beauty of sport. Of course, you can idolize it and lose your ever-loving mind and like yell at your kids and wife after your team loses, which is stupid. But there is something about this is when everything tried to get so stinking political a few years ago that every fan was like, "What are we doing?" Mm-hmm. I'm trying to get away from all that for 4 hours on a Sunday. I know it's meaningless. I get it all there. It's not meaningless to you. It's your life and livelihood and all that kind of stuff. But you know,
it's a child's game.
The location of where this ball is in all of human history is relatively irrelevant. Yeah. But in that moment, come on, man. A city can come together, root for its guys. Yep. I love our guys. I love that. I love Mo Williams, who, by the way, is going to come on.
Awesome. And
I love the way he's discipling you guys. I love how plugged into local churches the believers for the Jags
Wait,
are.
that's the Mo that's the chaplain?
Yeah, the Providence head coach.
I didn't know he was the...
Yep.
Is also the chaplain, and also, you know, he was a Pro Bowl player.
Yeah, I just didn't know he's a chaplain.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
awesome.
and the best one in the NFL.
Yeah, Mo's testimony is pretty cool too from his play. I'm not getting into it. Obviously, it's his testimony.
He's the best, and he coached my kid his senior year of high school. It's like having a youth pastor for your head high school football coach for your kid. There's nothing better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he also wants to knock someone's head off. Like,
yeah.
He took us to the second round of the playoffs. It was the best season Providence maybe ever had. You know, I mean.
Yeah.
So it was great.
Dude.
It was kind of like your punting thing. So he, as a coach, it wasn't either or. He was tough and tender. He was lion and lamb. He just knew.
Yeah.
Like he loved them boys and would pray with us and we'd do Bible study and all the thing. But bro, I mean, we were cracking heads at practice and we're the most in shape team. That's all Mo, dude.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Logan, I appreciate it, man.
Dude, appreciate you guys having me on.
No, it's fantastic. Anytime. Anytime, and best of luck this year to you.
Thank you.
And the Jags, obviously, go Jags.
Go Jags. And if you have any time off, you know, I do have hunting land real close if you want to go with a stick and a string.
Might need some quiet time in a tree.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, holler at me. Yeah. If you got a day off or your bye week or whatever.
No doubt.
We can go to the retreat center.
Don't call me expecting to hunt. But if you want to go play golf,
we'll play golf before hunting season.
There you go. Logan Cooke, Pro Bowl punter for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Built for More Pod, we appreciate the support. Make sure you listen. Make sure you share with your friends. We'll talk to you soon.